Hey guys, so my name is Pratham. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Zell Education. At Zell, we train students in various courses in the field of finance and accounting, and one of our most popular courses is ACCA. Now, with ACCA, we get a lot of questions which students across the world ask us, and I feel that one of the most common questions which we thought of making it into a video is based on the exemptions you receive in ACCA. Now, obviously, first of all, this is from the point of view primarily for Indians, but irrespective, once you understand the gist of it, you'll be able to understand the exemptions you get even if you're not from India. So, jumping into the course, one of the most advantageous points of ACCA is that if you had missed the boat right after, at the age of 17, 18, which is after 12th grade, where most students start ACCA, if you've missed that, right, and it's been 3-4 years, you've just finished a graduation or you've started pursuing something else and you want to shift, the good part is ACCA allows you, it welcomes you in fact, to start ACCA by letting you not start from the first paper. They give you exemptions. So ACCA has a total of 13 exams, 1-3. Out of these 13 exams, they give you exemptions for the first 4 papers or more depending on your academic background. So that gives students encouragement and even incentives to say, fine, even though I'm a little late, let me still start with ACCA because I don't have to start from zero. So this entire video is going to be dedicated on different, or rather the most popular different qualifications that students have based on which you get ACCA exemptions, which will be things such as your graduation, if you've started or completed CA and MBA and more like that. Now, with that being said, there are 2 more very important things you'll need to know before I get into the exemptions details. Number 1, if you Google on, if you basically go on Google and search ACCA Exemptions Calculator, the first link, which is the official ACCA website, you will get their website where when you go on the website, there'll be another search bar which asks you to input which university you've studied. So if you're a BCom from Mumbai University, you'll type in Mumbai University. If you're a chartered accountant, you will type in ICI, which is the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. So whichever body has given you the certificate for your latest academic qualification, you will input that. So if you put Mumbai University, they will ask you, okay, fine, from Mumbai University, which course? So hypothetically, let's say you're a BCom grad. So you'll click on BCom. And then ACCA will show you how many exemptions are you entitled to. So this website is the most reliable and exhaustive list of all exemptions that ACCA gives. However, it's a little confusing, which is why students need this video. But remember, after this video is over, anything you want to clarify for yourself, do go on the exemptions calculator and test it out. That is point 1. Point 2, which is very important, is ACCA does not give us exemptions based on what we've studied, which means, let's say you are a BCom student and I'm a BCom student, but you've done BCom from Mumbai University and I've done BCom from a relatively new and autonomous university. Even though what we both study can be the same, ACCA will have to have an understanding with Mumbai University as well as this university for both of us to get an exemption. As of now, if ACCA only has a relation with Mumbai University, then even though we both have a BCom degree, you are the only one who will get the exemptions and I will not because of the university. So for the rest of the video, whenever I'm going to tell you all anything, please remember that while I talk about the actual certificate, I talk about the degree, BCom, CA and stuff like that, you always have to once recheck and reconfirm that the bodies are qualified by ACCA for exemptions. Okay, so with that being said, let's get into the first one, which is graduates. So the most common one we get students who want to enroll for ACCA, the most common qualification is obviously your graduation, your bachelor's, since almost all of us have to have gone through some form of an undergraduate qualification. So I'm going to start with BCom. If you are a BCom student, you get the first 4 papers out of 13 exempted. Simple, clear. So if you are a graduate, you directly start from the 5th paper. It means if compared to somebody who started in there after their 12th, you almost save 1 year of your life because those 4 papers on an average take close to 9 to 12 months to complete. Huge advantage for students who are starting a little late. You already save a year. So that's what happens with BCom. Now, there are a lot of alternatives and extensions to BCom. So I'm just going to go through them very quickly and tell you all what kind of exemptions you'll get. So BCom is for BBA, which is again very common. You ideally get 3 exemptions. Next is BAF. BAF is specifically for a lot of students from Mumbai University. BAF, you again get 4 exemptions. Next is BMS. In BMS, if you've done BMS Finance, you get 1 exemption. If you've done BMS Marketing, you get no exemptions. And lastly, for BFM and BBI. Now, this is a little confusing, but essentially, if you've completed your BFM or BBI and you want to start ACCA, you need to send the certificate of BFM or BBI to ACCA. They will check it based on certain criteria of theirs. They will let you know if you are entitled to exemptions or not. So if you do fulfill their criteria, you will also be entitled to 4 exemptions in BFM and 4 in BBI. So this is a summary of all the different kinds of undergraduation degrees that you can complete and what kind of exemptions you get with ACCA. Now, the next most obvious, most frequent kind of students that we get again are those who are somewhere in their journey from either start or even after their journey of CA. So I'll try and make it as simple as possible. CA has 3 different levels, which is the foundation, the IPCC, and the final CA. Now, if a student has just completed his foundation level, he gets no exemptions in ACCA. If a student has completed his IPCC exams in ACCA, out of 13 papers, he gets 5 exemptions. And if he's completed his final CA, which means he's a qualified CA, out of 13, this CA gets 9 exemptions in ACCA. So quickly to summarize again, if you're a foundation student, you get 0 exemptions. If you're an IPCC student completed, you get 5 exemptions. And if you're a final CA student or other final CA or a qualified chartered accountant, you will get 9 exemptions. This is step number 1. Now with CA, there are a few complications which I'm going to explain. The CA foundation is simple, no exemptions, let's remove that. Let's come to IPCC. Now, IPCC, if you've completed IPCC, you get 5 exemptions, but if you've also completed your BCom along with it, you get an additional exemption. So you get 6 exemptions if you've completed IPCC plus BCom. Second, IPCC has 2 groups, right? Group 1, Group 2. Now, this is all assuming you've already completed your BCom. If you've completed your BCom, you know you get 4 exemptions. Now, each group of IPCC that you clear, Group 1 has tax in it, Group 2 has audit in it. If you have cleared, let's say, only Group 1, only tax, then in ACCA, along with the 4 exemptions of BCom, you also get this tax exemption, not the audit one. Okay. If you've only completed Group 2, you get the 4 exemptions of BCom plus the audit exemption. And if you've completed both, like I already told you, you get both of these plus those other 4 of BCom, which is a total of 6. And when I say completed, guys, when I say completed Group 1 of, right, which has tax in it, I mean to say even if you've not actually passed Group 1, but you've secured 40 plus in tax, which means you've cleared the tax paper as per ICAI, you will get a tax exemption for ACCA. Similarly for audit, you might have not cleared Group 2, but if you've secured 40 plus in Group 2, you will be entitled to the exemption in ACCA. So that is the more complicated part about IPCC. If you've not cleared full IPCC, and you've only cleared partial of it, you can still be entitled to the corresponding exemptions between CA and ACCA. I hope that is relatively clear to most of it. So now if you've understood the advantage of having completed IPCC either fully or partially and then jumping into ACCA, you'll understand that exemptions is the sort of the key reason people jump from IPCC to ACCA. Now, I'm going to give you 2 scenarios. Imagine you've completed your IPCC, you've cleared both the groups and you've started your articleship. During your articleship, which will stretch for around 2.5 to 3 years, you will have the ability to claim an overall, if you remember, I said 6 exemptions with IPCC plus BCom. If in ACCA, if you claim 6 exemptions, you only have 7 papers pending. 7 papers along with your articleship in 2 years is really manageable for various reasons. Number 1, a lot of your IPCC syllabus will overlap with ACCA. So studying for ACCA becomes slightly easier. Plus what you study in ACCA at the final level before you appear for final CA, A lot of ACCA syllabus will also overlap with your final CA, which will in turn make it easy for clearing final CA. Plus, having two qualifications makes you're getting two qualifications in the time of one. And most sort of practical reasoning why people take up ACCA after the IPCC is, if you've completed IPCC, you know that after articleship you have to appear for final CA, which is incredibly difficult. You have your goals to clear it, absolutely true, and you should. But in the meantime, if you finished ACCA and you become an ACCA member, you know at least one qualification is secured. You will start working almost at the same level as that of a CA, and then you can appear for final CA. So even if you take a couple of extra attempts, your entire career is not halted because you've completed ACCA in the middle. So we have a lot of students who decide, okay, fine, after IPCC, I want to finish my 7 papers of ACCA in my articleship. And it's genuinely manageable to finish all 7 papers in 1 to 1.5 years. So your articleship starts, you study for 1.5 years, and you still have time after that to study for your final CA, go for final CA classes and things like that. It's a very convenient and more importantly, achievable target if you say after IPCC, I will start and finish ACCA. Now, what happens if you've not completed IPCC and you've just cleared probably one or two groups, one group of the other, and it's been a couple of attempts. We get a lot of students who want to leave IPCC, but they don't want to leave finance and accounting. They don't want to leave CA. So for them, shifting to ACCA again is very simple because they said, okay, I tried CA, I like the subjects, but I can't clear the exams. I need to come here. Fine. You get certain exemptions, and clearing ACCA automatically is quicker because, as you see in other videos that we have, right? We have videos in which we've explained ACCA in depth, in which we've compared ACCA to other finance and accounting qualifications like CFA and CPA. In all those, you will see that the primary advantage of ACCA is the time that it takes to complete. Because of the frequency of the exam and the flexibility, you can complete exams really, really quickly. So if an IPCC student is struggling, he can come into ACCA, claim the exemptions that IPCC and BCom allows him, and then basically finish his entire ACCA in a relatively short period of time. So whether you're a IPCC graduate, if you've cleared IPCC or you're in the middle and struggling, shifting to ACCA, we've had those kind of students and they're genuinely thriving because they took a decision which is helping them reduce their effort to reduce their burden of clearing CA ASAP. So now that we've given an in-depth understanding of what IPCC students, how they get an advantage, let's come to the final level of CA. First, as usual, let's assume you've cleared CA, you're a qualified chartered accountant and you want to study for whether you want an additional qualification on your CV, whether your plan is to now go overseas, whether you feel that your company wants you to study ACCA, various reasons why current qualified CAs are studying ACCA. Advantages, like I told you, when you study ACCA, you get 9 exemptions out of 13. Only give 4 papers, it takes you barely 6 months and you are done. That is advantage. That is basically what happens if you're qualified. But what happens if you've not qualified and you've only, like IPCC, only cleared one of the groups of final CA? Simple. Remember, final CA over and above IPCC plus BCom, it only provides you 3 additional exemptions in ACCA. Remember, there are 6 exemptions if you've completed IPCC plus BCom. And you get 9 if you're a CA, which means there are only 3 papers, paper 7, 8 and 9 additional exemptions which you get in your final CA. So for these 3 papers, it again depends simply on the group. If you've cleared your group 1 of final CA, you get 2 out of these 3 exemptions, which are essentially financial reporting and financial management, because group 1 has both these papers. If you've only cleared group 2, you get the costing exemption corresponding to ACCA. So group 1 cleared 2 papers, group 2 cleared only 1 paper additional, right? Like I said, even in IPCC, if in group 2 in group 1 of final CA, if you've not cleared all the papers, but in only your financial reporting and financial management, you get 40 plus, you still get the corresponding exemptions in ACCA. Similarly for group 2, if you've not cleared it, but you've cleared costing with 40 plus, you will get the corresponding exemptions in ACCA. So again, while final CA, you have the ability to jump into ACCA and manage starting at a relatively higher speed. And now, another qualification which we get a lot of students coming from is an MBA. Now, ideally in MBA, you don't get any exemption unless you've done MBA in finance. If you've done MBA in finance, you get 3 exemptions. However, most people who've done MBA in finance, if they've already done BCom itself gives you 4 exemptions. So there is no, that all of these exemptions that MBA and finance give you overlap with the exemptions in BCom. It's not additional. However, if you are, let's say, an engineer who's done MBA in finance and you want to start ACCA, you get the first 3 papers exempted. That's for MBA. Another qualification which students ask us for is CPA. If you complete a US CPA and you do ACCA, you get 8 papers exempted in ACCA, 8 out of 13. Next, if you've done CMA from US, the CMA US qualification, and you have 5 years of experience, then ACCA allows you 9 exemptions out of 13. So guys, these are the most common, most frequent kind of questions we get for exemption sake. Please remember that no matter which category you fall under, always go back, like I told you in the beginning, and check it back in the exemptions calculator. So guys, that was our video on in-depth discussions on all kinds of exemptions that ACCA gives. If this video has helped you in any way to help you make a decision, do let us know in the comments. Similarly, if we've missed out on any qualification that applies to you, or if you want to know how to actually claim these exemptions, we might be making a video on that. So for either of these, if that's the case for you, please do let us know once again in the comments, and do subscribe as long as, because our primary goal over here is to keep giving information on different careers that you can take in the field of finance. Thank you. So guys, wait, before you leave, I'm going to leave you all with the same old. Do you know what the difference between you and a successful version of you is? The successful version of you would not miss out on subscribing to this channel today.